Hello, first graders. Get ready because we are starting a new module today. So, in your supply bag or box or wherever you keep your items, make sure you get your new Module 5 math workbook. Okay, there should be a big number 5. And write my name on here just to be extra responsible today. Okay, we are going to start working with some shapes today in Module 5. You're also going to need a couple other things. In your materials, you should have also gotten a piece of paper that looks like this. Okay? It'll have these two, they look like two big L's here. And at the top it says Lesson 1, Template 2. We will also need that with a pair of scissors because what I'd like you to do is pause the video and I want you to just cut one of these big L shapes out. It almost looks like an L and then a 7. Just cut out one for now. Put the other away in a safe place just in case you lose the one you cut out so you have an extra one. Okay? So, I'm going to pause to cut mine out and you should do the same. Also, go ahead and find that Module 5 workbook and a pencil with either a whiteboard or a scrap piece of paper. So lots of things to gather. Go ahead and find it. Then push play when you're ready to roll. Alright, as you can see, I cut one of them out. I'm going to put this one somewhere safe. Okay, and I'll set this one off to the side for right now. Just to recap, you should have this. I'm on my whiteboard right now. If you don't have your whiteboard, use a piece of paper and a pencil. And you're also going to need the Module 5 math workbook. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started. Here is our I can statement for today. It is unlike any statement we've had in a while because we've been doing so much work on that adding. Alright, today it says I can count corners and sides on a shape. Okay, important words to know in this are corners and sides. We're going to be talking about both of those words a lot today. So by the end of our lesson, I want each first grader to be able to count corners and sides on a shape. Alright, I have some charts I'm going to show you here, so after I get my board erased, we'll take a peek. Here is my first chart. And as you can see, my chart has a label. Each of the shapes on my chart has 3 corners and 3 straight sides. Now let me show you how you can count corners or count sides. Now here's another thing. If you ever have a shape with straight sides, like all of these ones, if they have 3 corners, they're going to have the same amount of sides, 3. Or if you count 3 sides, it's going to have the same amount of corners, 3. Now, since they are the same, there are 2 ways you can do this. One way is to count the corners. Okay? The corners are where 2 of the sides meet. Okay? So I see right here, this side and this side, they meet right at that corner. I'm going to put a nice circle on that corner. Okay? There's 1. I see these 2 sides meet here. There's 2. And then I see another one over here where these 2 sides meet. 3. Okay? This shape has 1, 2, 3 corners. That means it also has 3 sides. Okay? The other thing is if you like looking at each straight side, you can do something called dash them. Okay? If I see a straight side here, okay, I'll put a line through it. There's 1, here's another one, 2, here's another one, 3. Alright? And if I count 3 sides, I know that there are 3 corners. Okay, remember that. If a shape has straight sides, they're going to have the same amount of sides and corners. So it's up to you how you like to count those sides or corners. Okay? These are 3-sided shapes. Let's take a minute. I'll leave this up here. Can you draw a 3-sided shape on your whiteboard? a shape with 3 corners and 3 straight sides. Okay, you might look at all 3 of these shapes and think, ooh, that looks like a certain kind of shape. What certain kind of shape do they look like? Yes, triangles. So let's see. Can you draw one on your whiteboard or your paper? You can make those edges as long or the sides as long or short as you want to. There's one. You can make it skinny. Okay. Now, notice how I have all closed corners. If you draw a triangle like this, uh-oh, there's an opening in my shape. I do not want openings in my shapes. Okay, I do not want openings in my shapes. All those sides need to meet into a corner. Okay, you can even do like a V shape first and then connect them. Make your own 3-sided shape. Now I want you to practice counting the corners with me. Okay, choose one. I'm going to choose this one here. Let's count the corners. So that's where both of our sides meet. Here's 1. Double check that it's only 3. Here's 2. Here's 3. Good. Now why don't you practice dashing the sides with me on another one. Okay, here's a straight edge. 1, 2, 3. Remember, if it has 3 straight sides, it's going to have 3 corners as well. All right, let's erase and let's look at some other shapes now. Here's my next chart. You're probably going to recognize these shapes as well. These shapes all have 4 corners and 4 straight sides. Notice this word straight is an important one. Straight sides, because there are all sorts of shapes out there that might not have straight sides. Today, a lot of our shapes are going to have straight sides. Not all of them though, so get ready. So, if you look at all of our 4 corners and 4 straight-sided shapes, okay, you will notice that they have a fancy marking here in the corner. Okay, that fancy marking there is there for a reason. It's not a mistake. We call them square corners. Okay, that means that that corner would fit in a square. Okay, so this is where that big L thing that you cut out earlier, where we can use this. Okay, if a corner fits in here like this, you see how my corner fits? Okay, it's that nice L shape. It's called a square corner. Okay, if I were to try this, let's say over here on this corner, do you see how my line does not match up with my paper? So this is not a square corner. That's why it's not marked that way. If you see these fancy markings, that means that something is a square corner. Okay? So I have, all my shapes have 4 straight sides, but not all of them have 4 square corners, but they still have 4 corners. So let's take a peek. This one I'm going to practice dashing. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Okay, let's practice the corners here where the 2 sides meet. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Let's make sure this one has 4 corners too. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, is there another spot that there's a corner where 2 sides meet? Look, if it's not straight, that must mean there's a corner. Right there. 4. Okay, I see 1 straight side here, 1 straight side here, that's 2, 1 straight side there, that's 3, and then this other little diagonal one there, that's 4. So they have 4 corners and 4 straight sides. Now it's your turn. Try drawing a closed shape on your board or on your whiteboard or on your paper that has 4 straight sides. Okay? It might be something simple like a square. It might be a long, skinny rectangle. Okay, it might be just a regular old square or just a regular looking rectangle. Maybe it's a tall rectangle, but it must have 4 straight sides. Oh, look at this other shape. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners and 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count your corners up or your sides up with me. Double check them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Those are our 4-sided shapes. Some of them do have their own names, but today we're not worried about names. Today I'm wondering, can you count the corners and the sides of a shape? And that's what we're practicing. So let's look at one more chart. And this chart has a lot on it, so look carefully. Chart number 3, I see a few different shapes. I see some shapes with straight edges or straight sides. And then we see 2 shapes here with no straight sides. It exists, right? What shapes are these? This is an oval, and this is a circle. Notice there are no straight lines. And since there are no straight sides, then there are no corners. I'm going to add that. No straight sides and no corners. Okay. Now, let's count to see if this does have 5 straight sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. This one has 6, it says. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ooh, it sure does. And this one has 7. Oh boy. Whew. It might depend on what you like, but I'm going to use the corners to count. Remember, if it has a certain amount of corners, it's going to have the same amount of sides, as long as they're straight sides. So here's 1. This counts as 1, 2, 3. Okay, this side ends there. 4. Stop. 5. Stop. 6. Down. And 7. Look at that. It does have 7 straight sides. And now, here are those figures we don't want to mess with right now. An open figure. See how the edges or the sides do not meet somewhere in a corner. We call this an open figure. Excuse me. Okay? All right. Go ahead and I'll let you choose now. You can try out a 5, a 6, or a 7 straight-sided shape. Or maybe you draw a shape with no sides or no corners. Okay, these ones can be super tricky. 2, 3, 4. You just got to make sure that they can meet again. 5. So look. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, there's a 5-sided shape. I'm going to try one with no straight sides. Lovely. Why don't you try one with no straight sides? Nice work. Okay, so remember we have 2 strategies for counting sides. I'm going to draw a couple shapes here. 2 strategies for counting sides and corners. Okay, remember the trick. If it has a certain amount of corners, then it's going to have the same amount of sides. Let's all draw a triangle. Draw a nice big one on your board for me or on your paper. Okay. First, let's practice counting the corners. Remember, the corners are where the sides meet. Here we go. So, 2 sides meet here. There's 1. Okay, this side, where does it stop? Boop! There it is. 2. this side, where does it stop? Boop, 3. And then if I follow this side, I see I already counted that corner. So 1, 2, 3 corners. Okay, or you can follow this side. If I see a straight side here, 1, straight side here, 2, straight side here, 3. Good job. All right, let's take a peek now at our math notebook or math workbook. Remember, we are on the Module 5 book. You had to get your new one. Grab your pencil. Open it right up to the first page. All right, now we're going to keep moving. Remember, if you need a body break, you can pause this video and take one whenever you need to. Number 1 says circle the shapes that have 5 straight sides, okay? So, even though it says sides, it doesn't mean you have to do the side dashes like Mrs. Garris has taught you. Remember, if you like to count the corners, if it has that amount of corners, it's going to have the same amount of sides. So let's take a peek. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, doesn't have 5, so I'm not going to circle it. Let's count this one. 1, 2, 3. I hope you're doing this with me. 4, 5. Circle it. Good. Any straight sides here? Nope, gonna ignore it. What about this one? And this one. Ooh, one of these has 5 sides. Can you find which one it is? Between this one and this one. Right there. Okay, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3. No way, Jose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. That's what we want. Circle. And what about the last one? No sir, no ma'am. Good, that one has 4 sides. Okay, number 2. Circle the shapes that have no straight sides. You remember what these shapes look like, right? The shapes with no straight sides and no corners. Oh, there's a lot of them, huh? This one. This one, do you see how we have an L shape here? Those are straight. We want ones with no straight sides. There's one, and there are 2 more. Can you find them? This long oval and this little oval. Good job. Moving on. Ooh. It says circle the shapes where every corner is a square corner. Oh boy, I hope you still have it handy. Let's practice using it now. Okay, so we want to put all the corners in our little L shape here. Okay, if it lines up, ooh, look at this one. That corner does. You have to turn it. That corner does. So there's, ooh, that corner does. And that one does too. Okay, I'm looking at this corner here. So I'm going to circle that one. Now, does this one have a square corner? No way, there's not even a straight side there. This one, ooh, what shape is this? That shape is a square, right? And guess what, first graders? Squares have all square corners. You see that? All square corners. Good stuff. Circle it up. Now, if we look at this one, look. That matches up. It's a square corner. However, if I were to go look at the other 2 corners, so let's go over here to this one. That, see how it cuts way early? That is not a square corner. Okay, and this one, let's see. Oh, you see how those edges just disappeared? Nope, those ones aren't square either. Okay. Down here at number 4, it says draw a shape that has 3 straight sides. We practiced this, right? Here is our chart with the shapes with 3 straight sides. Can you draw one that's like that? 3 straight sides. 1, 2, ooh, you can make a long funky line, and 3. There's mine. Okay. Now it says, draw another shape with 3 straight sides that is different from this one and from any that you see up here. Okay, so again, just make up your own. Draw another shape with 3 straight sides. Okay, then I want you to practice counting your corners or your sides. 1, 2, 3. Just to make sure you're practicing and you're making sure. Good job. I could count the sides, remember. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Let's move on, first graders. We're going to do a couple more. So I'm at the top of the second page. Here we are. Now, this question gives us some fancy words that we need to know the meaning of. It says, which attributes? Okay, can you say attributes? Which attributes or characteristics, this is another important one, these two words mean about the same thing, are the same for all of the shapes in group A. Here's group A, so it's talking about all of these shapes here. Now, this word attributes and characteristics, they want to know about the shape. How many sides do they have? How many corners do they have? Corners and sides are both attributes of shapes. Corners and sides are also both characteristics of shapes. Okay? So, these are similar words. We want to look at, what is the same about all of these shapes? What do you notice? If we're talking about attributes, I said think about sides and corners. How many sides and corners do we have? Here's 1 corner, 2 corners, 3 corners. Okay, let's make sure that's the same on all of them. 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe that's one thing. And 3. Oh, and then what about this one? 1, 2, and 3. Ah. So we do, don't we? We have an attribute that is the same on all of them. They all have what? 3 corners. Now, Mrs. Garris told you a trick a lot of times throughout this lesson about if shapes all have so many corners, they're going to have the same amount of what? Sides. Okay, see. 3 corners, 1, 2, 3 sides. 3 corners, 1, 2, 3 sides. So they all also have 3 what? Sides. Very good. Alright, stay with me. We're almost done. Last one is number 6. 7 and 8 are just extra practice if you'd like. Now, we have to look at group A still. It says circle the shape that best fits with group A. So we're looking at these shapes now. Which one fits or has the same attributes as all of these ones? We talked about these ones all having 3 corners and 3 sides. So which of these shapes also fits that description? It is, let's see, this one. And, oh, no straight sides there, huh? Doesn't look anything like those ones. This one has straight sides like those other shapes. let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but it has 4 corners and 4 sides. So I don't think that really fits very well. This one. 1, 2. This one has 3 corners and then meaning 3 sides, right? That fits with this description. 3 corners, 3 sides. This has 3 corners and 3 sides. Does this one have 3 corners and 3 sides? No way, it looks like way more. So let's choose our best option. Awesome work. Now that was a lot of work and it's not quite finished yet. Okay, you're done with me. You're going to do your exit ticket now. Okay, it looks like this. The first part of your exit ticket, you will look at the shapes and you will write how many corners there are and how many sides there are. I want you to show a strategy that you used. So either use the dots in the corners to show how you counted, or you can use the dashes on each side to show how you counted. All right? And then in number 2, there are a couple different directions here. And you have to look at the sides and corners of the shapes in each row. So here's one row, here's another row. They're totally separate. Okay? It says cross off the shape that does not have the same number of sides and corners. So 3 of these shapes has the same amount of sides and corners and 1 doesn't belong. You have to find the one that doesn't belong. And then B says cross off the shape that does not have the same kind of corners. Ooh, so I'm going to give you a hint. You might need to use this as the other shapes. Okay? So 3 of these have the same kind of corners. 1 does not. You have to find the one that has different kinds of corners. You can either do this right here in your workbook, or I will have it up on Seesaw with directions again if you'd like to do it on your iPad. Great job working and counting corners and sides with me today.